Good morning, my dear students. Today we will take lesson 4, unit 1, the importance of sunlight to living organisms. All of us know that the sunlight is very important to us. The sun is the main energy of the earth. Lots of animals depend on plants to get their food. All of us eat plants, and some animals eat plants also. How does the plant make its own food? As we said before, the plant makes its own food by photosynthesis process. The plants, like a factory, make its own food. To make the photosynthesis process, the plants need, number 1, the sunlight, 2, water, 3, carbon dioxide gas, number 4, mineral salts from the soil, number 5, the chloroplast that exists in the green leaves that give the plant its green color. Again, the plant makes its own food by photosynthesis process. To make photosynthesis process, it needs the sunlight, water, take the carbon dioxide that we exhale, mineral salts from the soil, number 5, chloroplast. What is the definition of the photosynthesis process? A biological process takes place in the green parts or the green leaves of the plant to make its own food. Again, if I ask you write the scientific term, a biological process takes place in the green parts of the plant to make its own food, you will answer photosynthesis process. The green leaves contain chloroplast or green plastid, as we saw it in the plant cell, that's responsible for the photosynthesis process. The green plant is called producer organism. The green plant called producer. Give reason, because it produces its own food, makes its own food by photosynthesis process. This is a flower or a plant, have roots under the soil. It takes water and salts from the soil, takes sunlight, carbon dioxide gas, and use them all to make its own food. What's its own food? It's called carbohydrates or sugar, and to produce oxygen, which we use in respiration process. In the photosynthesis process, number 1, the chloroplast that exists in the green leaves in the plant cells absorb the sunlight and take the carbon dioxide from the air. Number 2, the plant absorbs water and minerals from the soil. Number 3, starch or sugar or carbohydrates. Do you know the carbohydrates like bread or rice or something like that? The food of the plant is sort of carbohydrates called starch or sugar are formed. This is the food of the plant. If I ask you, what is the type of the food of the plant? It's protein. Of course, wrong. It's sugar or starch. Number 4, oxygen gas released from plants. To demonstrate it more, please focus on this drawing. This is a plant, have roots under the soil. These roots absorb, it's like a straw or a chalumeau. It absorbs water and minerals from the soil. And these green leaves have chloroplast in its cells. This chloroplast take the sunlight and take carbon dioxide gas to produce oxygen and starch. To produce oxygen and starch. Summarize the photosynthesis process. This is the green plants. What enter the green plants to make photosynthesis process? It's carbon dioxide, sunlight, water and minerals. Again, carbon dioxide, sunlight, water and minerals. And the green plants manufacture its food or make its food and produce oxygen gas and starch. Produce oxygen gas and starch. What are the products of photosynthesis process? As we said before, the product, what the plant produces, the products, the things that the plant produces. The plant produces carbohydrates or sugar or starch, the same, and oxygen gas. Give reason. There are chloroplasts in the cells of producers. What is the cells of producers? As we said, it is the plant cells. There are chloroplasts because it makes its own food by photosynthesis process, and these chloroplasts absorb sunlight and carbon dioxide gas. Okay. Now we will classify the living organisms according to their food, to their feeding. According to the way these animals feed or eat food, we will classify them into 3 types. Number 1, living organisms called producers. And you know which one is called a producer? It's the plant, of course. Number 2, consumers. 3, decomposers. Let's define each of them. Number 1, producers. They are living organisms that can make their own food by themselves by doing the photosynthesis process. So, producers, they are living organisms that can make their own food by photosynthesis process. They produce food, so I call them producers. They make the food, they manufacture the food like a factory by photosynthesis process. Examples of producers, as we said before, number 1, green plants. The green plants have chloroplast or the green plastid that absorb the sunlight and carbon dioxide gas to make its own food, to make photosynthesis process. 2, green algae. You can see it on the river, in water when it cannot move very well. You can see the green algae. This is another example of the green algae, as you see. Number 3, some types of bacteria. The bacteria, it's a unicellular organism, as we said before. We cannot see it by our naked eye. Not all the bacteria. Some of these bacteria make photosynthesis process, so it's called the producers. Again, producers. Examples of producers. Number 1, green plants. 2, green algae. 3, some types of bacteria. Number 2 of the classification, we have consumers. What is consumer? The consumer is the living organism that depends on producers directly or indirectly. What this means? Consumers, they are animals that feed on the plants, feed on producers, feed on the plants directly, eat the plants directly or indirectly when they eat another animal that eat the plants. Okay, we will explain it in details. Please focus with me. Number 1, directly. There are a lot of examples of animals that eat plants, like cows, sheep, chicken, elephants, and deers, and so on. Okay, these animals eat the plants directly. They only eat plants, so we call them herbivores. Number 2, human. We eat plants. We eat fruits and salads and so on. So, this called direct consumers. Direct consumers that feed on producers. Direct consumers feed on plants or feed on producers. Number 2, indirectly consumers. Indirectly consumers mean that these consumers eat the plant in another way, in a form of another animal. How? These consumers feed on consumers, eat another animal. This animal eat another animal, like a lion eat a rabbit. This rabbit feeds on plants, so this lion eat the plants in form of rabbit. It takes the energy from the plants. Okay, again, indirectly or indirect consumers, they are animals that feed on another consumer, feed on another animal, like lion snake, tiger, hawk, wild cat, and human. Animals like lion, snake, tiger, hawk, wild cat, and human, and there are a lot of another indirect consumers. This is a wild cat, of course tiger. Give reason. Lions and tigers are consumers. The answer will be because lions and tigers feed on another consumer, feed on another animal. Okay. Number 3, the time number 3. Remember, we classified animal into 3 groups. Number 1, producers. Number 2, consumers. Number 3, decomposers. What meant by decomposers? Decomposers, they are living organisms that get their food through the decomposing or analyzing or breaking down of organic wastes as dead bodies, plant remains, and decayed food. After death, the decomposers analyze our bodies, decompose our bodies. This is called decomposers. They feed on the organic wastes. If you leave food remains, after time you will back to these food remains and found it like that. This is a type of decomposers called the bread mold fungus. Bread mold fungus. Okay, it's rotten. Okay. Again, decomposers, they are living organisms that get their food through decomposing or analyzing or breaking down the organic wastes of dead bodies, plant remains, and decayed food. Examples of decomposers, we have some examples like bacteria, like the yogurt bacteria. To make the yogurt, there is a bacteria used in the factories to make this yogurt we eat, and it's useful bacteria. It's very good, very helpful for us. Number 2, some types of fungi. Fungi is the plural of fungus. As yeast fungus that we used it in making bread, as we said before, and bread mold fungus. This is the rotten of the bread. This is bread mold fungus. Okay? And like this is a rotten strawberry, rotten fruit. This is a decomposers. This rotten is decomposers. Okay? This is called decomposers. This is called decomposers. What is the importance of decomposers? As we said before, it's used in a lot of industries, like the yogurt industry, making bread. Number 2, they increase the soil fertility. When the decomposers take the elements from the dead bodies, it's back to the soil, and the soil give it to a new plant again. So it increases the soil fertility, which is very important for agriculture or for planting. Okay? And they help us to get rid of dead bodies and the plant remains. Imagine if there is no decomposers on the earth, we will move on dead bodies, and it's very bad thing. Okay, the decomposers is very important to us because they help us to get rid of dead bodies. Number 2, increase soil fertility. Number 3, used in a lot of industries like the yogurt industry or making bread. Okay, assessment. Can you classify, please attention with me, can you classify the following living organisms according to their way of feeding? This is called, this organism on the strawberry, called excellent decomposers. Decomposers. Number 2, this wild cat will be producer or consumer or decomposer. Excellent, it's consumer. Green plants, of course, producer. Okay, we have finished our lesson, primary 4. Please study well. You have to answer the exercises in the booklet. The school sent you the model answers of it to be sure that your answer is right. Okay, so please study well, answer the questions, and correct it for yourself. Thank you.